I remember the most memorable version of that was in the Great Hall in St. Petersburg. When Is this better? The most exciting rendition of that, second to what you did right now, which is fantastic and unbelievable, was in the Great Hall there in the theater, Glinka, it was the Glinka Theater in St. Petersburg, Glinka Hall. And it was Glenn Howard, I think, who came up and suggested that we sing this at the end, spontaneously. Well, of course, that created the situation, if I just turned around unannounced and did this, where would the chorus get its note? Well, I don't know, I can't remember to this day what system we devised, but it worked. And so after about the second curtain call or so, and by the way, just for those of you who are interested in decorum, we did clear this with Slava ahead of time. Because we didn't want to give any surprises that would cause distress on his part, but he was happy for it. And so right at the end of about the second clause, I just stuck out my hand and went bang, and the Choral Art Society produced en masse a perfect C major chord. And the orchestra members came to me, I felt like I was a magician, you know, and it was very, very satisfying.
You are!
I can't remember what the system was, but they got the note and no dissenting voices whatsoever. I want to talk to you a little bit about the future. For years, during the progress of the Choral Art Society over these past 47 years, the idea is it going to, how long is it going to go? Is it going to be just for a while and then it's going to stop? And it must have been somewhere around 20, maybe even as long as 25 years ago, we realized we had a tiger by the tail and it was going to be around for a long, long time. And I want to tell you that one of the most gratifying little reports that I've received lately was the enormous number of people from this year's full chorus that have already signed up for next year. And I want to thank all those people. That goes very, very well because you have a great, great new music director in tow here. And I'm having lunch with him 2 days from now at his request, and I will be trying to answer questions of his to acclimate him to whatever questions he has wants answered. But he's going to be very thrilled with this as well. And as you know, you don't have to go through the grueling rite of an audition, which determines whether you're in or not. You are going to have to go through. Oh, you're here, there, Scott. You're here already. What you will have to do is to sing for him so he knows what he has to work with. But those of you, there are 178 people at the end of the season who were full members at some point during the season that are still active and available. So that's a differential of what that is from 132. And those of you who are still sitting on the fence, I urge you right now, sign up for next year. It's the greatest form of continuity we can possibly have. The second greatest form of continuity you can have is this wonderful staff that we have that will lead us through. And then the third would be this enormous financial stability that we've developed, which has been aided and abetted mightily by the Legacy Fund, which is already up into 7 figures. And that's just added on to the endowment that's already in place. So you have to know that everything about this organization is geared for longevity. And the modus vivendi of everything and modus operandi is firmly in place. But most important, it's the individual singers that make this up. It's like a great mosaic. And every person that sings in the choir is an essential part of that tile that goes into that mosaic. And it's just a joy for me to go around. When I sit and conduct large numbers of people together, that has its own joys. But the greatest joy to me is to look into the face of the people I know and love and have known and loved for all these years and thank them personally and cherish and relish our friendships, because it is a personal bond, even though many of you come to a rehearsal and don't leave having exchanged a word with me. But we've had an exchange. We've had communication. And the communication is through the magic of the language of music, because nothing communicates quite like it, and nothing reaches deeper into a person's soul than the art of music. It's a way of faith, it's the way of life. In fact, I don't know whether Leonard Bernstein ever said this exact set of words, but I know he lived by it and believed by it, and I do too. Music is life. It is life. Music is the personification of life. It sets a model, the way we love it, the way it deals with the deepest part of ourselves. It knits things together. I know it is for me, because I come home a lot of times after a hard day of work and I'm confused about an issue, or maybe I'm tired, maybe I don't want to go to a rehearsal that night, or something like that. There have been those nights. But I have to tell you, there has never been a single rehearsal where that doesn't dispel like the morning mists within the first 5 minutes of standing in front of a group of people who you're working with. But I can tell you, when I don't have the chorus to conduct, if I put on a record of the B minor Mass and I'm confused and tired and at loose ends, don't know what to do about something, and maybe think that maybe what's this all about anyway, I sit and listen, and after 2 bars of that, I'm all put together again. I know that everything is just fine, and my one-word philosophy of life was this word, yes, takes over again, and I'm able to go on. It's like some kind of a magic elixir, and I can only imagine what it is if you're sitting there in the company of all the people that you know and love, doing something that gets that deep into you, how much that must mean to all of you. I don't have that particular feeling because I can't sing. I don't need to explain that to you. I've had time to observe that over the years. But I do know, and I've known from many dozens and even hundreds of faces and eloquent voices telling me that it means the world to them to be able to sing and to line up with their fellows and just be part of God's creation in this communal act. It's the oldest form of ensemble art that we have. Nothing goes back any further, unless you want to speculate that maybe someone was beating on a tree trunk or something and trying to jump around to it a little bit. But music in terms of communal expression goes back many, many millennia. And I'm sure that chanting and everything, where voices were together, meant something to primitive peoples as much as it does in its super sophisticated form in our own present time. My prayer and my hope for this organization is that it will only go upward from here, and I don't see any earthly reason or any impediment or any reason why it shouldn't. Now keep the faith, and if you do some esoteric music and don't sell every seat, don't despair. I'm going to put on my Methodist preacher's hat. I'm going to put on my Methodist preacher's son cap and say, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I will be also. And as Shirley and I would do this time and again when the concert was not selling so well, at least the acoustics will be better. Don't despair when you're putting on things that are new and unusual and may not sell out quite as readily as Carmen of Burana or St. Matthew Passion or what have you. That's what we're all about. We're at the cutting edge, and I think we've proved that over 47 years. We stood up and said, you know, classical music is in trouble, but it will always be with us. It will always be with us in live performance, it will be with us on recording and broadcast, and we can take it physically around to different places like we do on tour, but it will always be with us. It will never, ever die, and it will never, ever lose that dimension because it speaks to the most important thing about us, and that part of us will never disappear. Our spirits will not disappear from the human race, and music, because it's the voice of the spirit, will never, never disappear from the face of the earth, and certainly not, the Choral Art Society will not disappear from the city of Washington, or indeed the world.
For those of you who do not know, the words to that hymn mean many years. We sang it in thanks to you, Norman, for many years. Now, let's sing it again. To welcome Scott. You don't need any pictures, just go on Greg's. What am I to say?
Where's Scott? Where's Scott? Where's Scott? Bring Scott up.
That's what he gets for showing up at the party. Come here.
This is your audition.
Watch that. Just